Text him, Brian, to see if that's what he's saying. My guy. Do you think that's what's happening? I just texted Brian to see it.
And now let's meet your Simpson score.
Today, we celebrate the incredible educators, mentors, and support staff who work tirelessly to make Simpson a place of excellence. With all faculty and staff members in attendance, please rise to be recognized. community, our dedicated staff and faculty. One more time, a round of applause.
Watch.
And now, fans, we ask you please rise if you're able, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the American flag as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Storm at home. Both of these teams here today have opened the 2025 season with some of the highest home opening scores that these programs have seen. But who will come out on top today? We are here in Indianola, Iowa, with both these teams just shredding their record book. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we have some exciting gymnastics and potentially some new PRs that will be set in today's competition. Annie Johnson here, former Iowa State gymnast, along with the great, talented person that I am honored to be a part of this broadcast with, Osh Jones. You could take a look here at Simpson and Oshkosh's lineups as well as their coaches. So starting off with the Simpson gymnastics team, it is led by Emily Barrett-Payne, who is in her third season as head coach. She's the main coach for vault and beam. And when asked about what she is most excited for this year, she said to be a part of the WIAC conference. It is their Simpson's first year being able to be a part of something bigger, such as a conference championship, and they are stoked to be a part of something bigger than themselves. You can see here at Simpson has had a tremendous start to their season. Their average is higher than their team high score just from last season with a 187.1 and just shy of that 190, which is their team's goal to achieve this season. Perhaps they might achieve it today. Coming into this meet, I know that they're approaching it one meet at a time, knowing scores are just an outcome of good gymnastics. So you can expect that they will be focusing on the moment to moment in each routine. Hopefully they can use the momentum that this team has created early on in the season to really holster in all of that energy and move this team forward into their postseason. Take a looking here at University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Their head coach, Lauren Karnitz, is in her 18th year and has led 20 of the 55 Titans to All-American awards. A remarkable tenure for Lauren, also followed by Aaliyah Kastmeyer, the assistant coach in her second season, and Radia Jarvis, the volunteer assistant, also in her second season. All three former collegiate athletes, which makes all the difference for these athletes to be able to have those role models that were just in their shoes just a short time ago. This team is hungry, coming off of 3 national championship wins. They are hungry and driven by numbers, but also have a balance of strong team camaraderie and aspects of a family. They're looking in to settle into their gymnastics and try to focusing on the little details as they're starting to approach the halfway point as well. Taking a look here at their season so far, they have an average of a 192.45, followed by their high score, where they achieved it at their first home meet, 194.15, which is their second highest team score in program history. Just two remarkable starts for both of these teams this season. Very exciting time and competition to see who will come out on top. Taking a look here at the Simpson lineup, who I'm most excited to see is Kaylin Talley. She's the anchor, and she has a huge vault. Also, in this lineup, it is riddled with freshmen across the board. And when asked why they put freshmen in, not only to set the tone for the event, but also for the entire meet, Emily said that she actually enjoys the fresh, young, vibrant energy and love for competition that these freshmen bring into the rotation and the meet. And she thinks that it's the best way and best foundation for these teams to start their meet off of. Simpson's vault high score is a 47.4 this season. Their program record is a 47.95, so just a few tenths shy so far this year, but it's still early and they have a lot of room for growth and upgrades still this season. Moving over to Oshkosh's bar lineup, you can see here starting off with Brianna McGibney and having Avery Evans anchor them out. Brianna McGibney, the junior, had a season high of a 9.8, which she achieved last week. So I'm super excited to see how she starts this lineup up. She has been the leadoff in every meet so far and is just a rock for this team. She's a 4-time All-American and worked so hard for upgrades this season to achieve a 10.0 start value, meaning that the highest ceiling that her score can achieve is that 10.0, which every team is hoping for on this bar's lineup, especially with a lot of the rule changes.
Annie, I'm so excited to be joining on this call.
Welcome, Osh Jones, the infamous Kentucky gymnast, Kristen Osh Jones. Welcome to the call. Super excited to have you to watch this competition with two teams that are just destroying the record books this season.
And I'm so excited to watch them go at it again today. And I'm so sad that it looks like a little bit of a mistake on bars, or are we still in warm-up?
We are still warming up, so hopefully they're getting all the nerves out during these warm-up rotations.
Perfect.
So, Osh, both of these teams have obviously had just stellar starts to the season, and this for Simpson is their 4th meet. For Oshkosh, it is their 5th meet of the season. Approaching that halfway mark, how do they use the momentum that they've created and built upon in the first few meets and carry it through what can be seen as kind of the longest stretch of the season in February?
I think a lot of it's just based on your day-to-day confidence. You know, you're getting in that rhythm. You're starting to just find your overall self-confidence. And you know, you can go out there and you can hit a solid routine. And it's in the gymnastics world, it's kind of like second nature, like riding a bike. And so hopefully they're at that point now where they can just get up and they can just nail their routines without having to put a lot of extra thought or pressure. Naturally, that will come, but I feel like they're kind of in their rhythm, in that groove. So hopefully this meet will be a solid meet for both teams, and it'll be a good competition.
It's almost like you have to put your brain on the back burner and just let your body do what it knows how to do after having done it for 2 decades almost for some of these athletes.
Agreed. And hopefully they're at a point now where, we saw that one fall and warm up, and hopefully, like you said, that was just like, maybe that's her way that she warms up. And then now she can get up there, salute, and it's a breeze.
Also, you talked about confidence. A lot of lineup changes have been happening over the first month of the season, and February is typically when you'll see those lineups start to settle down and every athlete settle into their gymnastics. We do expect some lineup changes to still be occurring at this point in the season, but not starting off on bars. Rihanna McGibney, the strong leadoff for every meet so far, a 9.8 for her season high.
That's a really impressive leadoff score, watching this dismount. Look at that, just a little step on the landing. What a great lead for both teams there.
And explain the importance of that leadoff spot, Osh.
It's kind of how their team builds, like we just talked about, build confidence. If they have a great start, it's an infectious, just overall crowd builder that they just take that next step, and the next one has confidence. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's contagious. It's confidence contagious to the next athlete. So it's very important that leadoff is strong to give confidence to the rest of the team, to the rest of the lineup.
Up next for the Simpson on vault will be Winter Pula, the junior, who made her vault debut last week with a 9.075.
Looks like we're just waiting for those judges to salute.
You'll see a lot of these athletes on vault specifically starting off with a 9.75. The vault that they do is a Yurchenko layout, and that is the highest start value. Although when talking with Emily, the head coach, she was saying that there's a lot of upgrades to look forward to at the last half of season.
But like you said, that was a Souk layout. It was a beautiful layout shape. She did take a little bit of a step, but starting at a 9.7, she will have the lower range of the 9s for her score, which is still a phenomenal score.
And you kind of talk about the risk of trying to get a higher start value, but then opening up gaps for judges to take deduction. The more higher the start value, the more potential there is for deduction.
Agreed.
Roll up for Oshkosh, the senior on bars.
She's done a beautiful job so far, and she has a little extra elements in there to help her get that 10.0 start value. Like you said, for me, she's doing a great job on her bar team, but she was a little short on one handstand and then a little minor step on that dismount. So the score is overall going to be a little higher because, like you said, she took that risk, add a little more in her team. So in this case, it was worth putting a little extra in that bar team to start at the 10.0 value.
And one thing I am so impressed of with this team is, despite the rule change of having to add more difficulty into the bar routines to achieve that 10.0 start value, Oshkosh has all 10.0 start values across the board on bars, which is just so impressive. Emmy Barton, the freshman, up on vault now.
Oh, look at that fight for that stick.
Oh.
She fought for that. It was a great vault. She had good height. She had a beautiful layout shape, and she really fought. Unfortunately, it will be a deduction for that chest being down, but that's okay. We love the fight. I love seeing girls fight for every 10th.
I'd rather see a chest down with a stuck landing because, like you said, that leadoff position is contagious. So are sticks in gymnastics.
I completely agree with you.
Liz Romano up now on the bars. I believe this is Liz's bar debut in lineup for this season.
She had a beautiful first cast handstand. Beautiful release to an overshoot. Hit that last cast handstand, and all we have is a blindfold of her double tuck. Little chest down the landing, little step, but again, great routine, especially for your debut on bars. It's a
Olivia
beautiful
Hederi vault.
Beautiful layout again. I like that the last athlete really tried to stick. I feel like the momentum out of the full, there's been huge steps coming out of those layouts. But again, I'm excited to see their upgrades, hopefully coming soon.
And they actually train, many gyms have a foam pit where they can train those upgrades with soft landings, but their gym, they don't, yet are still continuously pushing their boundaries and trying to get those upgrades in, even throughout the season, not just in preseason. Avery Evans waiting for the green light for the judges on bars for Oshkosh. Avery Evans has been the anchor on this event several times and has a high scoring potential of a 9.625. One of the many freshman faces that we will be seeing in these lineups. And then on vault is Emma Tolbert.
Starting off strong on bars. There's a nice tuck full with a stuck landing. Beautiful vault. Nice controlled half pirouette. Wonderful handstand on the high bar. Nice, just a little baby step. Those were both amazing routines out of both teams.
What incredible routines to have your fourth or fifth person in the lineup set your anchor up for success. Typically in the gymnastics lineup, the first person sets the confidence, as Osh was saying, for the rest of the lineup, and then the anchor typically has the highest scoring potential. I know that was Emma's first time putting out that Yurchenko full, and so she was really excited to compete that upgraded vault and just crushing the landing. I mean, stellar performance by vault and bars as well. Emma Tolbert with the highest score for Simpson with a 9.6, following Olivia Hederi's 9.5. Equally as impressive scores from Oshkosh, a 9.625 from Liz Romano, followed by Rihanna McGivney's 9.525. So very competitive scores between these two teams just on the first event alone. Kaylin Talley up for vault.
Beautiful front tuck half. She had a little minor step there, but again, I love the power. She had a very beautiful height on that and form in the air.
And I believe that was her first time competing that vault as well. She added a half twist, making the scoring potential a 9.95. So just about as close to a 10 as you can get. Up now on the bars is Amaya McConaughey.
Nice. A little short on her handstands there, but she crushed that bail to handstand. Nice. Beautiful.
I love her toe point. The extended lines that she's showing is just beautiful.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuck dismount. Oh, they've got to be super excited about that.
You can't ask much more from Amaya. She is just a rock on this event and so impressive. She scored a 9.75, and I would suspect it to be around that range as well here today. Kaylin Talley with a 9.7 with her upgraded vault. Alexa Denton now up for Simpson. the freshman.
And Annie, this is an exhibition routine, so this routine will not count for their score. It's just to see if they're ready for lineup. Which, that was a beautiful layout. Again, same little step back, but she did a great job. And hopefully she will make lineup in the next upcoming weeks.
We have one more competitor before the exhibition performers for Oshkosh, Sam Zeilinger. And Osh, tell me a little bit about the exhibition role. You said it's kind of the coaches put them in that position to see if they're ready for lineup. But what is the value behind getting those reps in at competition?
Competitions can be stressful and nerve-wracking, so they want to see if that athlete can handle it, if they can go into that pressure and they can perform like they do in practice. And so that's good to know too, if you do have someone that's out for an injury or an illness, that they know they can count on that athlete to get in that lineup to do the same score as the other athletes in their lineups.
And speaking of which, when I was talking with the Simpson coaches, it seemed that a lot of illnesses and sicknesses were happening that they were trying to nurture this week and kind of keep at bay. And so you might see some of those former exhibition routines get pulled into lineup for moments just like that. Huge double layout.
And a stuck landing. That was a great double layout. And I think it's really fun to watch exhibition athletes because you never know when they will shine and kind of, prove that they deserve to be in lineup too. So I always get excited about the exhibition athletes and giving them an opportunity to perform as well.
And my favorite part is how excited the team still gets. Even though they are aware that the vault or the bar routine isn't going to count towards the score, these girls treat it like it is the one up, one count vault that is going to count for their team score. They get so excited for these athletes' hard work to just be showcased in a competition.
I agreed. And like you just saw, Morgan had a beautiful Yurchenko layout. She just didn't rotate enough to land on her feet, but you can see that she's right there. She's so close. It's middle season. She still has plenty of time to get that ready for, maybe the end of the season. And you do have some athletes that are tired and worn out, and they might need a break on vault in the lineup.
And I know Simpson has worked hard at gaining more depth in the vault lineup, which they accomplished this season for this point in the season. Sam Zeilinger Bailey Burkholder. Sam Zeilinger got a 9.65 for Oshkosh.
Beautiful connection there. I'm always very impressed when athletes put together two release moves together because it has to be just right or it's completely off. So very impressed with her combination there. And she stuck the landing there. Super excited. Again, that's a great exhibition routine. That was amazing for Bailey.
It's exciting to know that the backups have that great of performances and routines to have in the back burner, as well as the capability to stick. That is a huge part in college gymnastics when every 10th matters.
Agree. And you can see that here by the rotation one, the scores. Every 10th matters right there. And it's an amazing competition so far, just one rotation in.
We have one final competitor up for Oshkosh, an exhibition routine. Mary Lloyd up now for Oshkosh.
Beautiful first handstand. She held it a little at the top too. Once again, you see that combination release moves.
And those are the combinations they worked hard at in season to connect the big individual bar release move to the overshoot or pack to get those 10s bonus.
And beautiful blind full, which is a full twist on top of the bar into a double back. And I'd say maybe just a little tiny step on landing, but it looked stuck to me. I was very impressed by her handstands. Her handstand lines were absolutely beautiful in that routine. Way to go.
I don't know, Osh, I might have blinked a little bit too long, but I'd say it was a stick to end their lineup. You could take a look here. Simpson walking away with their new high vault season score with a 47.65. Their program record is a 47.975, so just a few tenths shy, but they are in that upward trajectory on this event for this season. You don't want to reach your peak yet. They still are building. Oshkosh on the other side with a 48.025, just a few tenths away from their season high, but it was so exciting to see some of the stuck landings, and I think they have a strong foundation to carry with them through the rest of the events. We'll take a break here and join back shortly. Welcome back in the Cowles Fieldhouse, where Simpson Storm is hosting UW-Oshkosh. As we head into event 2, what can you expect to see on both of these events, Osh?
I expect to see both them continuously just trying to get their stuck landings, a little bit more of control over those little tents. So I'm excited to see which team will fight for those tents, because they're right on the edge of their season highs. And I know you don't want to peak too high, but it's so exciting to get a season high. So I'm looking forward to see them both really fight to get stuck landings, maybe chest up, or fight just a little bit more to get a few tenths back on each event.
Absolutely. Oshkosh is entering the event that they had some troubles with in the first meet, but had no problem in gaining that momentum back on the second meet and have been sticking up to the 48 range on the vault. They have a few 10-0 start values, with the last 3 in their lineup having Yurchenko full, so 995 start values, excuse me. Over on the bars, Simpson has worked extremely hard with the upgrades this season and have gotten a 46.5, which is a program record. The two people I am most excited to see are the dynamic duo of Liz Sisler and Evelyn Resnick, where Liz just 2 meets ago got the program record bar score, and for her best friend Evelyn just followed it up the following routine with another program record for the Simpson Storm. They will be closing out the bar lineup today, so hopefully seeing some big scores from them. Typically with the home team, they start on vault bars, beam, floor is the order of competition. And that typically is a beneficial for vault to kind of get some of the jitters out before approaching the bar rotation, because some of those jitters can sometimes make gymnasts overdo it or overcast on their handstands. So that's typically the desirable lineup instead of the visitors that go bars, vault, floor, and ending on everyone's favorite, the balance beam.
I don't know, Annie. It was always my favorite personally, but you're right. Those jitters really gets you at the end when you know you're trying to win and you're on beam. So I'm also excited to watch them in the next 2 rotations on beam as well. But who doesn't love a great meet when you get to go the Olympic order and go vault, bars, beam, floor?
A good would you rather question is, would you rather start on beam or end on beam? I know my answer, but I'm curious about yours.
I would rather start on beam.
Really?
The pressure at the end of the meet, you just have the jitters. I'd rather start on beam and just go for it and confidently build from there. Does that mean you'd rather end on beam?
I think I'd rather just compete beam for all 4 rotations. Scratch the other ones.
Then we wouldn't have an amazing meet like this to watch.
Exactly. All the diversity and some of the skills and release moves that we get to see on bars. And I'm excited to see some more twisting vaults as well. And stuck landings, just like we saw there in that practice.
And yeah, like you see they're doing, this is a drill. This is something that they work on their air awareness. So they come off of the table and they work on where they're in the air so they can actually see their landing and they can work on their stick. So great for them to work on just little basic details like that as they're finishing up their warm-ups. Nice little reminder before you compete to where to look and where to land and how to get your chest up.
And when I got a chance to talk with Oshkosh's coach, Aaliyah, she was mentioning that they're focusing on the little drills and details and trying to be as efficient as possible in practice. There's no need at this point to be doing extreme numbers and repetition in the skills that these athletes have been doing for years on end. And so doing drills like that, exactly what Osh was saying, gets to see your air awareness and see that landing and practice that stuck landing that every gymnast is striving for. Gearing up here for the first competitor on each of these events. Oshkosh on vault, starting off with Mia Passarella, the sophomore. She scored a 9.575 this season. And then over on the bars, Winter Pula, we saw her on the vault rotation already, the junior. She has scored a 9.0 this season. And we're off.
Winter on bars. Nice bail. Little short on the handstand. Little short on the handstand on the high bar as well. Free hip into a double back. Look at that. Nice landing. Great landing. Hopefully they are very excited about that start to their routines. And on vault from Mia, she had a beautiful front. She had so much height. She had so much height and power that she had a nice little step forward. But again, that was a beautiful front vault.
I'm not sure what's more impressive, that lead off on both of these teams hitting a solid performance, or Simpson's coach Kelsey Cocan sprinting across the mats in high heels.
I just really hope that it's not a sprint to a fall, because those mats, you might not know that, the mats that you land on are they have a little give to them, so they have a little squishiness to them.
Knowing these coaches, I think they rather fall on their face than have the athletes fall. So they would be willing to take one for the team, I'm sure. Our coach, Kelsey Cocan, giving a pep talk. Bella Dix coming in as well, who They explain it as the rock of this team, giving our next competitor, Olivia Hideri, a little pep talk before her routine. Olivia is a freshman, and her focus has been consistency. She is within a tenth of the last two meets in her scoring, so she's definitely staying in the same ballpark, which is exactly what you kind of want at this point in the season. A fun story about Olivia, she actually changed her dismount from a double layout, 2 flips in an extended position, to a blind full where you do a full pirouette on the bar, double tuck, a month before season started. I mean, she is a freshman, but she competes and trains like a veteran. And that is the difference between, rather than just excelling in the competition floor, she acts like it every single day in practice. So impressive with her.
It's really impressive and difficult to change any routine or skills months before, but just 1 month, that is very impressive, Olivia. I cannot wait to watch this bar routine.
She has a lot of potential throughout her career. Mia on the vault started Oshkosh off with a 9.425. And here is Olivia Hideri.
Wonderful handstand to a free up handstand to a bail. Wow, wonderful handstand on the high bar.
Wow.
Nice blind full to the double tuck. Oh, nice.
And a stuck landing.
Look at that excitement. Oh, that makes me so happy to see it stuck landing. When all the athletes surround you, it's the best feeling when you stick that landing.
I mean, you could just see the excitement radiating off of this team. They know that that was a good routine, and hopefully the score reflects that. Winter Pula before her at 8.975. Sam Zalinger, the senior, was up. She had a 9.6 high this season, so waiting for her score. Up now, Avery Evans, the freshman. I had a chance to talk with the coaches about what happened in that first meet when they didn't quite get their momentum on the vault. She said that they just weren't really sure what they were capable of. So opening their first meet with 2 D1 schools and having vault be the last event, they just got a little bit ahead of themselves and were hoping to stay in line with those D1 schools. And so they were able to come back their second meet and lay a good foundation for vault lineups to come this season.
And that was a great Yurchenko full. She had so much distance that she went out of the camera range, which is phenomenal. You do want to see a little bit more height with those vaults, but she has so much power. And like you said, I know it's hard when you are against D1, Division 1 versus Division 3, but I love that they have that fire and that they're trying to keep up pace with those Yurchenko fulls, with the full twists versus the layouts. So that was great, a great vault, great overall, amazing power.
And what are the judges looking for? You talked about the distance and the height. Is that all that the judges are looking for?
So they're looking for the height, they're looking for the distance, and they're looking for in the air to be, if it was the vault that we just witnessed, the Yurchenko layout full, to be completely laid out with her feet together. So think of just like standing nice and tall. That's the position they want to see. And then, of course, the infamous duck landing. So, but I think she's right there. I think she just works a little more on those drills. She'll have that stuck landing in no time.
As if you're at the doctor's office trying to get your height measured. Nice and tall and straight position from head to toe. Up now for bar is Kaylee Page.
And she's at a solid routine so far. Just now the dismount.
Wow!
Stuck dismount. There, it's contagious, Annie.
It really is. Just 2 stuck dismounts in a row for the Simpson bar lineup. Olivia Hideri at 9.45 before her. She just beat out her previous high by 4/10. Incredible.
And she deserved on that routine. That routine was amazing. And Kaylee's dismount was beautiful. So they're starting to get that confidence that ball is rolling, and it's contagious to one to another. So hopefully Izzy will be able to step up and stick her landing as well.
And I believe this was Kaylee Page's first routine in the lineup this season, that with a score that counted. So to come out with, I'm sure, plenty of nerves and just crush it just speaks numbers on how calm and cool and collected she can stay during competition. Mia Lucero now for Oshkosh. Amaya McConkey before her a 9.475.
Mia is very focused.
Absolutely, and she's focused for a reason with having tied for first at NCGAs last year on this event right here.
That was a great, once again, great Yurchenko full. She had a lot of height. She just took that one little step at the end. I'm really impressed with the Yurchenko fulls. They're doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely, to have half your lineup be competing with a 9.95 start value is very impressive. Moving on now to Izzy Brown for Simpson.
Oh, you hate to see that. She was going for her release move where she kicks her heels up, she flips into 3 catches, and she just was a little too far. And I mean, Annie probably knows this way better than I do since she did bars in college. When you miss a release move, it does not hurt that bad. It just hurts your heart a little bit more.
Absolutely. So what is going through her head right now? You can see some of her teammates talking to her at the chocolate bucket, but having to get up and finish your routine for your team, what is going through your head?
Of course, you want to do your best because you want to try to save all the tenths possible to make the highest score. But you're also just so frustrated with yourself because you made a huge mistake, and now the team, it's not on them, but it is. You're all sisters. So it's really tough to get back up there, but as you can tell, she's doing a phenomenal job of just picking right back up where she left off. Here's the dismount and just a minor step. Now, hopefully, we have Liz coming up on next, and you said she had a great high score recently, that maybe she can use her momentum and her confidence there to come back and just crush her bar routine. So kind of build that momentum back up.
Absolutely, and no one is hoping for a fall in a lineup, but if you're going to have a fall, the 2 people you would want up next, Liz and Evelyn, those are exactly the type of people and competitors that you would want to follow a fall. So just 2 routines left for Simpson on bars that will potentially have to count, so they don't have to count that fall. Up now for vault is Rihanna McGivney. She's gotten a 9.8 on this event before, so a big vault ahead of us.
Her vault's so big, she had to start against the wall. Beautiful Yurchenko full. Her chest was slightly down at the end. She took a little step forward, but like you said, that was a very beautiful vault, very big vault.
It's like a bow and arrow, wind it back to launch forward. She is a 4-time All-American, Rihanna is, and had received 3rd on vault at NCGAs last year. And a big of that part of that is attributed to those Yurchenko fulls. On vault, it definitely pays off to risk it with those higher start values.
I completely agree with you. Where vault, you do have the opportunity of falling, but it's just one since routine. On bars, there's so many different elements and parts of your routine. It does make it a little bit more trickier when you try to throw in a little bit more difficulty. So vault, I believe, is one of the easier events where you can kind of throw a little bit more difficulty in. Do you feel the same way, Annie?
Absolutely. It's a one and done. You don't have to find the momentum. With bars, once you lose the swing, the whole routine could be off and the jitters can get to you a little bit easier. But vault is definitely a little bit easier to risk it without having to sacrifice the rest of the routine, for sure.
Agreed.
Rihanna got a 9.5 on vault. This is Liz Sisler, the program record holder for about 2 minutes before her best friend swiped it away from her in the following routine.
Absolutely beautiful. She's hitting all of her handstands. Right into bail or overshoot. There's multiple terms for some of these skills. Wow. Beautiful. And line full. Oh, little chest down, little step on the landing. But that was a gorgeous routine with her handstands. Amazing how each one of them just kind of held at the top. And that's a minor deduction they can take on bars. But if there's 3 handstands, that it tends to build up, and a big chunk of their score is now taken away in deduction. So she did a phenomenal job of not letting the judges take too much on that bar routine.
And it's fascinating talking to these coaches last year at this point in the season. They were just hoping to get through the bar routines. They just wanted the athletes to get up and hit and make it through, some with even a watered down dismount. But now they are executing very strategically, hitting those handstands, keeping those feet together, and really focusing on those little details that just shows how much improvement they've made just in a year's time. Olivia Hideri still holds Simpson's high bar score with a 9.45, waiting for Liz Sisler. And Evelyn Resnick will be up next for the anchor on Simpson's bar rotation. Kasha Muraski was on Oshkosh for vault for an exhibition routine, also waiting for her score.
Where's the other roll of duct tape?
I think sometimes the hardest part about the whole competition is just waiting to salute. Sometimes it feels like you're standing there for your routine. I know it's probably only 2 minutes, but it feels like it's 30 minutes sometimes.
Your hands start sweating, your feet sweat, your grips get stiff. Not a fun place to be, but you can see the routines these athletes have prepared for. Not only are you practicing your physical gymnastics routines, but these athletes spend so much time on their brain work and mentality of how to walk through and make everything as replicable as possible, so that when they get to the competition, they have their mental sets that they go through, the person that they talk to or fist bump, and then they're ready to go. Evelyn Resnick, the Simpson bar program record holder. So special because both these athletes have come off of bar hiatuses for 2 years and now are just leading this team on this event.
Beautiful bail to handstand. Oh no!
Shoot.
She was going for this release move has lots of different names in the gymnastics world. Chinese sit uphill. She was going for it where she gets the perfect angle to where she could really hit that kip cast handstand. And she just was a little too far away from the bar, and she missed. So unfortunately, they're going to have to out hers or Izzy's score with the fall.
But that is a good mistake to be having, to be going for it aggressively. I mean, these athletes are hitting their hands. They are not being shy. And on bars, it's important to get comfortable with really just going for things like that. She's going to have to redo the skill.
She's going to finish up with her dismount. Double layout. Little step. And she does have to redo the skill, because if she does not, then she'll get even more of a deduction for not doing the skill. So she redid the skill, clearly showed that she has confidence to do it. And then I think she finished strong with that dismount. Again, a little step, but to come back, and she finished strong for her team. I think that is a true bar sprinter right there.
And she's achieved a 9.6 twice this season. And so it's so frustrating to know what you're capable of and the potential that you have, and to unfortunately fall short this meet. But it's early on in the season, and this is the time to be making mistakes. It's frustrating in the moment, but in the long run, it's exactly where the Simpson coaches want this team to be on this event in particular.
Agreed. I mean, we've all heard the saying, go big or go home, right? So you go big, you try those, you don't want to overdo it, but you want to try to make it big to where you can hit those handstands and do the big release moves. And then, you learn now, hey, I can still do this, but maybe I just need to pull back on this side of the routine. So I'm still super proud of her. She finished up strong. They had a great bar rotation, lots of highs, lots of great stuck landings. I think they're, like you said, they're on their way. They're mid-season. They're on their way to having a great second half of their year.
And you talked about going big or going home, and sometimes that looks different at practice. You're tired, you're doing 5 to 10 routines on each event, and that's after a full day of class and weights and tutoring. And these are college athletes. They have so many other different things going on and priorities happening. Whereas when you come to a meet, you might do one routine and warm up. So you have a little bit extra juice in you. So sometimes going big might mean just dialing it back a little bit. Beautiful handstand though, right there.
Agreed.
Ball.
And beautiful toe point. She's doing a wonderful job in this routine so far. Here's the last handstand. Go to handstand, do a double back. Look at that. Oh, she had the second landing and did like a little arm spill back, but that was a wonderful exhibition routine for Simpson. I mean, she looks like she could be in lineup. That was absolutely gorgeous. And her toe point was impeccable.
And so you can see the team, like we were talking about with exhibitions, getting equally as excited to know that they have the depth on this event needed to have exhibition routines hit. Not only just get through the routine, but hit a stellar routine with beautiful toe point and beautiful handstands.
Agreed. It is frustrating that they can't count that score, but again, it's just good to know that you have solid backups, for multiple reasons, to be able to exchange those athletes around or move lineups around. And that's something that Coach Kelsey Koken will have to look at, Maybe she makes a lineup change for the next meet, or maybe she just leaves it and see how they do it the next time. So great for them to have all this depth on bars.
And both of these teams' coaches, when we were talking with them, were mentioning how difficult some of these lineups are because of the depth on some of these events. Well, when Simpson goes to beam next, they have about 19 girls training beam with a routine. I mean, you have to choose 6 performers up. That seems nearly impossible, but that is a good, hard decision for these coaches. You want that to be the most difficult part of your job because it just goes to show the work and effort that all these athletes are doing for their team. Our final competitor, another exhibition routine, Nicola Catchpole. Her brother is on the men's Simpson gymnastics team. Erin Ball received a 9.275, and Evelyn Resnick, despite falling, still received an 8.975.
Oh, push. There we go. She pushed that. She saved it.
Great fight.
Oh, and she had that uphill Chinese sit-up. She was just a little bit, feet were too far in front of her. She wasn't able to get the momentum into her kip there. So it'll still count as a fall, but she didn't physically come off of the bar. She went clear handstand into her double back with a little step. So again, great for her exhibition to kind of see where, she had a little bit of nerves hit her in the uphill, the Chinese sit-up, but she finished strong. And again, a great routine for Simpson to have on exhibition.
Definitely. And again, we don't want to see mistakes, but to see the fight that these athletes are capable of in a high stressful situation like a competition, it just is exactly what you want to be seeing. Here we go, looking at the second rotation standings, 93.725. Simpson Storm were able to walk away the bars rotation with a 46.075, and that is within 0.5 of their program record that they just achieved a couple of meets ago. And -1 fall, and they're right there. This team is on their way for sure, like you said, Osh. Moving over to Oshkosh, see that with a 47.125 on vault. They, not their best performance, a little bit shy of their 2025 average of a 47.7, but to see all those upgrades and the Yurchenko fulls starting with a 9.95 is a really powerful and strong performance by both these teams. We've reached the halfway point and we'll be back shortly, moving on to the beam and floor rotations.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We are here in Indianola, Iowa, where the Simpson Storm is hosting the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Oshkosh is taking on the floor, while Simpson is taking on another event yet where they created a program record with a 48.05, their second meet this season. Both of these teams are very strong on these events that they're approaching. Oshkosh received a 48.9, just 1/10 away from a 49, their goal this season. They have had a lot of fun on this event, and the coaches were saying that it's so simple just to sit back, watch, and enjoy this event. It's a very stress-free event for them, whereas on the flip side, beam might arguably be one of the more stressful events for athletes to compete.
I mean, tumbling on a 4-inch wide beam doesn't seem so stressful, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. If you just get your phone and think about putting your foot on it and then doing a flip and landing back on your phone, that is what these athletes are doing. So not at all stressful.
And I think the most stressful part about competing beam is that when you're in practice, everyone's kind of around you and everyone's walking around. No one's really paying attention. But when you're on beam in front of, and correct me if I'm wrong, last week at Iowa State, they had 7,000 people in their stands watching.
9,000.
9,000. That many people watching you on beam. And if you really start to think about it, that's what creates the nerves. And even your teammates, everyone just kind of watching you, it does. It puts a lot of extra pressure on yourself. And your body will start shaking without you even knowing, or it's pretty remarkable what your body does when it starts to settle in and know that you're the only one on the beam. It's 4 inches wide, and you have to perform all of these hard skills for a score. So kudos to all the gymnasts out there and all the work they do on beam, because it is very difficult and very hard. So I'm excited to watch what Simpson does on beam, and I'm excited to watch the choreography on floor.
Yes, there's no opportunity in gymnastics to throw away the ball and get intentional grounding of any sorts. It's you yourself up on the event and you can't pass it away to anyone. And that can definitely lead with a lot of pressure. But you mentioned how Simpson is coming off of their meet in Ames, Iowa, and Hilton Coliseum up against Iowa State. And they had a fairly emotional season. The meet before, they were competing where they honored Carl Welsh, a tragic story of an athlete that had passed away this previous season. And so they went and achieved several program records at that event. That was just a very heavy event, and then moved to a very high energy with 9,000 fans in Hilton Coliseum. And so this range of emotions that these athletes have been competing with, when asked about how they've been able to handle it, Emily, Simpson's head coach, mentioned that those are external factors and trying to keep the emotions at bay and just stay in their lane, focused on what they can control. The emotions are an added thing, and if they can harness the emotion to be a beneficial to their gymnastics, that is where they kind of want to stay in. So they have plenty of practice competing with high emotion.
And that's what ends up being and giving you the most confidence to be a successful athlete, is being able to control and compete with all those emotions. And, even anger, fear, stress, those do tend to help some athletes, and they do tend to put a little pressure on those athletes. So it's really wonderful to hear that Simpson's been able to look at the controllables and focus on that instead of worrying about anything on the outside.
And that's the only way to prepare for postseason. We mentioned earlier about how this is Simpson's first year in the WIAC conference, where they will again meet Oshkosh, the reigning WIAC conference champions. And there are 10 teams in the conference. And so being not only competing against 9 other teams, but they want to compete for that late night session. So the top 5 teams will be in the later session, giving them an opportunity to walk away with the championship title. And to be able to compete at your peak at that point in the season under those high pressure scenarios is what these teams are currently training for. Up first for Oshkosh, Journey working team.
And this is the first time we're seeing Journey.
Just a freshman, but she has scored a 9.625 just last week, the Arizona native.
For the first pass, double tuck. Phenomenal job. Beautiful height control when she landed.
Olivia Hideri, the bar high scorer in just the previous event, up first for Simpson on the beam. There was some question if she was going to be the leadoff. The coaches said she has been such a strong competitor and got a 9.675 on her beam debut as a freshman. So impressive. So it makes complete sense why they would put her up first.
Little leg separation on the floor. Stepped up. Nice beam series. She does a swing down, so hardly any wobble on there. So that was a great floor routine from Journey. Little leg separation, but again, phenomenal leadoff for Oshkosh.
You'll notice some mats on the floor, which is completely okay and helps save the bodies a little bit while the athletes are tumbling to help protect their ankles on those landings.
Gearing up for the dismount for Olivia. Round off 1.5, a slight step to the left. That was, like you said, solid start for Olivia.
She wanted that stick so badly, you could tell.
Oh, yes. What a great leadoff for Simpson. Hopefully they build on that momentum with that.
Definitely to have a first routine up with minimal wobbles, if any, And just a slight step on the dismount is about as solid a start as you could hope for. A 9.4 for Journey's debut today. Up now is Mary Lloyd.
Beautiful first out. The 1.5 chest up, controlled landing. And just a round off layout in the middle of the floor because they have forward back pass and back.
Kaylin Talley up now for Simpson on the beam, the junior. She is a new face in the lineup for this season.
On her full turn. Looks like we're the last pass on the floor. Front layout, front full, rolled landing. That is going to be a wonderful score for Mary.
And what this floor lineup thrives under is the hype team and high energy. Amaya Jr. on the team was saying they just love to be loud and excited. And I know they're far away on the screen, but you can see that excitement from the opposite side of the floor corner.
It looked like a little bit of trouble in the series. She's supposed to connect the cartwheel to the no-handed aerial pipe down, but she was just a little off. So she made a really wise decision to go back and redo it again. But on the second one, she seemed a little off, but she made it happen anyway, and she connected it, and she did so with minimal wobble. So very smart on her behalf, and she stayed on the beam. She'll get a little deduction for repeating that, but she stayed on the beam, and she is smooth sailing now, getting ready for the dismount.
That fight that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, look at that. Front tuck full. I saw it. I didn't see any feet move on that dismount.
Her teammate might have been blocking the slight step, but we'll call it a stick. Olivia Hidaria, 9.65. She's just shy of her career high of 9.675. Don't know where the judges were able to take deductions. It was flawless routine. Waiting for Mary Lloyd's score for Oshkosh on the floor. Moving on to Mia Lucero up next, the senior. And we're about to see a stellar performance as she won this event at NCGA's last year and is a 3-time All-American. Not only is she talented as a competitor, but she did the choreography for the entire team. So if at any point during this lineup you're tapping your foot, Mia is who you can thank.
I always love watching the girls on the side do the scenes.
You would think memorizing over a dozen floor routines would be difficult, but after doing hundreds, if not thousands of reps of it throughout preseason, there's no question as to how they memorize all of them.
And you hear the music over and over. She opened up with a beautiful double tuck. Her leap series looked like she hit all the splits. And she's just now enjoying the sideline right there with her teammates in front of her. What fun choreography. I love it.
She's definitely a performer, and I can see how she has choreographed all these routines for her teammates.
Front layout, front full. That little extra step she took at the end to pick her leg up does not count as an extra step. It is just a little kind of flare, you would say, but it is no deduction. So she is able to do that. And that ending looked like it hurt, but she did it wonderfully. It did not probably hurt.
That was intentional, not a pull.
I loved watching that floor team. Her energy was impeccable.
And sometimes when you have that vibrant energy on the judges get so lost at the performance aspect, maybe they lose some of the deductions too, which if you can captivate the judges enough to put them in a trance to leave some deductions behind, that is a goal from every athlete. Izzy Brown up now on beam.
Izzy's doing the same thing all of her teammates have done, fighting. I love to see her fight. She was a little short on her aerial, but she brought her chest up and immediately saved it. So she is fighting for every 10th here on the balance beam.
She is following Kaylin Talley's 9.0.
She does a very fun, unique dismount. A lot of gymnasts go backwards, but she does a front gainer full and little baby hop, little step at the end. Again, great fight, minor deductions.
I got lost just watching that dismount. It's so unique. I was expecting a backwards, and then it was forwards.
Well, and that's what it's so cool about the skills that the gymnasts perform is there's a rule book that's unlimited. You can kind of pick and choose skills they're good at, and that makes it really fun.
And what I appreciate so much about both these teams is we've talked about upgrades, but they are continuously, as their careers are approaching the end within their final year, 2-3 years, they're still making upgrades and changing their routines. And you'll see a lot of upgrades here from all of the competitors here on floor, specifically Delaney Sinkus for Oshkosh.
She did a front tuck through 2.5. Little leg separation on twisting. That tends to happen. It's very hard to get your feet together when you're doing that many twists in the air. But controlled landing, stayed in bounds. Little leg low for me on her split jump there, but otherwise great leap pass. And these are little deductions that just continuously add up. And that's what we've been talking about. The judges can take on the leap passes and the tumbling. So you want to make sure that you get the full 180 split as if she was doing it sitting down on the ground. Front handspring 1.5 to a split jump. Once again, I saw a little leg separation, but great control on the split jump. Now she gets to breathe a little bit and dance and have a little bit of fun and show her personality on the floor.
Is floor typically the favorite event to compete for athletes, Osh?
I would agree because they kind of get to show their personality on floor. They get to show who they are. Kind of they get to pick the music, what pulls out and makes them excited. So I think floor is going to see, you got to get to see who they are as an athlete or as a person too.
Up now on being Emma Tolbert. Izzy Brown got a 9.575 right before her. And I know the team is so excited to have Emma back in lineup after been away last season due to a shoulder injury. And she's, according to her coaches, lights out with her beam consistency. And it's one thing to be able to do the skills, but to be consistent on this event and understand your hit percentage is fabulous. Then that is what is going to get you back into these lineups, especially after an injury.
Agreed, and you can see her fight on every single skill. She's a little bobble on almost all of her major skills. She had a step just down the dismount, but you can tell that her consistency of staying on the beam, she's right on. But again, every major skill she did in that beam routine, she did have a little wobble. So the judges will take that, but again, great performance on balance beam from Emma.
Delaney Sinkus, we're waiting for her score on floor. Nia Lucero got a 9.65, followed by Mary Lloyd's 9.525. And this lineup on floor, this floor lineup team, they have not counted a score below a 9.5 yet this season. They are consistently achieving just their max potential with scoring. Jay Rutkowski up now. And we talked about some upgrades. You'll see some of the upgrades here in her pass from last season.
That was beautiful. She did a great job of controlling, keeping her chest up when she landed, front layout, front 1.5. And I love seeing the teammates in the corners cheer on. Nice to know that you have somebody encouraging you right before you do a big tumbling pass like that. Now she gets to show off a little bit of her personality with her dance.
Are you able to hear your teammates when you're performing, or do you think a lot of these athletes have tunnel vision?
It's, at least personally for me, when I competed floor, I only heard my teammates. I made sure to pay attention to them, and because I wanted their energy. I don't know if that's for every athlete, but especially for me, I wanted to hear their energy. I wanted to feel their energy on the floor.
Follow-up question, did you stay on beat then? Were you able to hear your floor music too?
I did, and I think it's because you do it so many times in repetitions. A front through double tuck, little chest low on that dismount or the ending pass, but great job. But yeah, you're able to hear your music, and I think that's what makes it fun, is your personality and your teammates, and just trying to take their energy and find it for your own.
And you mentioned at the start, it's like riding a bike, so you don't even need the floor music. You just need your encouragement from the teammates. Olivia Short now on theme for Simpson.
Oh, Olivia, she did a beautiful down, just kept her aerial. Then she kept her chest just down just a little bit too long to where it made her hips move and bobble. She was supposed to connect that into a series. It's like she was trying to connect and almost be a little too perfect, where she just dropped her chest just a little too low. It was a straddle, beautiful straddle half.
Jay Rutkowski, a 9.625 on floor.
All right, Olivia had a little step on the dismount. After that fall, she got back up and she fought with everything. That was a great ending to that routine. So kudos for Olivia for back up.
Absolutely, just one more competitor for each of these teams on their respective events. Rihanna McGibney, now the stellar performer, got a 9.875 as a career high last year at NCGAs. Let's see if she can come close to that here today. I have to turn up my volume. I love her floor music.
It's so fun. Round up to double. Double, it was beautiful. Chest up. Nice controlled landing. Playing to our teammates in the crowd a little bit here. That was absolutely gorgeous leap pass. Her splits were above the requirement.
They look like they're having so much fun. I wish I was out there with them. Not competing, but watching.
Oh no!
Oh.
Front layout to a front 1.5. Just a little short. And she did put her hands out. That will unfortunately be a fall.
Fortunately, her teammates before her all had good scores, so they don't have to count that fall, but still not what you want to see from an anchor that has such high scoring potential.
Agreed.
Brooklyn Morgan now for Simpson to round out their rotation. She has a career high of a 9.725.
Oh, come on. There we go. She did a switch leap to a switch leap, and you could tell in the second one, her foot was on the edge of the beam. to a side aerial. Very small wobble. Backhand slam. Dropped her chest there. Sizable wobble, but she's on the beam. She's fighting for every 10th.
And following a fall, as long as you stay on that beam, then you are doing great.
Dismount now. Beautiful back full gainer step. No movement there, but yes, after a teammate has fallen, you obviously want to get the best score you can, but it adds a lot of extra pressure, a lot of nerve. And Brooklyn, you could see that in the beginning of her routine in her leap pass. That's like once she got past that, she was able to fight for every skill there and stick the landing. So great job, Brooklyn. It was wonderful to see that, the conclusion of Simpson's beam rotation.
And this is Emily Barrett-Payne's first season coaching the balance beam. And she said her motto is to allow for mistakes to happen, which I think is so refreshing, to allow the athletes to compete comfortably. It's already a high pressure scenario. So to be able to go out there and know that they have the support of their coaches and their team and are allowed to make those mistakes to learn and grow without the threat of potentially being removed from lineup due to a fall. Knowing it's just a learning experience, I think is just so amazing and allows these athletes to just do what they know how to do.
Agreed. It kind of takes the pressure off them. It allows them to thrive because you already as an athlete put a lot of pressure on yourself. So it doesn't feel like that extra pressure is getting put on you. So I completely agree. I think that's great. And I think it's showing in the beam lineup. And they did have a fall, but everyone scored above a 9 and very consistent score. So I think what Emily's doing on beam for Simpson is working.
And another parallel between these two teams when discussing this season with both of the coaches is that they put a lot of pressure on themselves. So it's the coach's job to remove some of that pressure once they get to season. Preseason is difficult and long and grueling, hard work. But once you get to season, it's the joyful part. It's what you worked so hard for. And so there's no need to put additional pressure on. This is the fun part. And it seems like both of these teams are just having so much fun. Our first exhibition on the beam, Rachel Welch.
A little too much on that backhand layout. I mean, that's a good problem to have too much power, but Seth learns how to take a deep breath and control that landing. But again, it's great to have these athletes in the exhibition to give them the opportunity to compete, allow them practice the nerves. She has beautiful dance. Side aerial. Perfect.
And you can see the grace and beauty just in their fingers when the performance and the elegance almost exudes through their fingers. That is what makes a very confident looking beam athlete.
Agreed. I mean, you saw that aerial and the dismount just now. No wobble. She has potential right there to make a huge impact on the lineup. Once she just learns how to calm that backhand layout down. Phenomenal job by Rachel.
One more exhibition routine up left for Simpson on the beam, Emmy Barton. Again, as I mentioned, they have 18 routines on beam, so just about as difficult to choose 33% of the potential athletes that could compete on this event to represent Simpson on the beam. Simpson's motto this year is "You can do hard things," and it's okay to be uncomfortable. And I can see a lot of uncomfortability, and the girls handling it beautifully. Really competing like a veteran team, not a team that is only in their third season.
I think a lot has to do with the way that Emily and Kelsey approach the team. You know, it comes from your leaders, the culture they set. So they've done a wonderful job instilling confidence in these athletes. There's a beautiful Becky Hansen layout. No wobble.
And it's athletes like Emmy Barton as a freshman, their whole freshman class coming in and integrating into the culture and bringing their own personalized style into the team to only elevate it further. And unfortunate fall by the freshman on the second exhibition team.
He seems so confident on with it. Very impressed by the freshmen. A little step on that landing. A little more confidence. I think Emmy will be ready for lineup.
And that's going to conclude the third rotation for today. We just have one event left with Oshkosh leading the way with a 142.975 and Simpson trailing behind with a 140.6. Simpson is approaching one of their best events with floor, and Oshkosh is landing on the balance beam. As we talked, it's a hit or miss event to end on, so it's still anyone's competition. Both of these teams, Simpson on the beam, Oshkosh on the floor, were unfortunately a little bit under their average, so they kind of did their normal, a little bit dip in scores than we've seen previous meets this season. But again, they are just putting on a stellar meet so far, just with one event left. And we'll be right back to conclude this competition here today.
I'm not ready for that one.
And I appreciate the fight.
and welcome back as Oshkosh is leading the way with a 142.975 and Simpson right behind them with a 140.6 as we enter this fourth and final rotation of today's competition. A great performance so far. What did these teams have to focus on to finish strong, Osh?
I think that on floor, little details. Not moving on those landings, keeping our chest up, and of course having fun. But on beam, really staying on the beam, because I know there's a little difference in the score right now, but like you said earlier, if they have 2 or 3 falls, it could be anybody's meet. So just really staying in, make sure they're focusing on beam, minimal deductions, and just really focused on closing out the meet strong so they can leave Simpson with a win. I mean, obviously Simpson, being the home team, wants the win, but right now it's anybody's ball game.
And to not focus on those external factors and uncontrollables like the scores or the wins and losses. I think if they go out there and have a fun time on the floor, that is when they thrive. They're coming off of their best floor rotation this season so far with a 47.625. And so they have set themselves up to just continue to progress further in the score range.
I agreed. If you just relax and know what you're capable of, they know what they're capable of, but like knowing that confidently, just going out there, then that's when you tend to get those season highs and make those next strides in a great meet. But it's when you start really getting nervous and focusing on the little details. Sometimes it does get a little nerve-wracking. So having fun is so important, and being able just to enjoy the moment and being strong, doing hard things.
The Oshkosh coaches said that they are focusing on those little details, the stuck dismount in particular on this event right here, really trying to leave the judges with a highlight rather than taking a small step and leaving the judges with a deduction to take.
I agree. When someone finishes their event and they have a stuck landing, it is so fun to see, and I think the judges really enjoy watching the gymnasts succeed as well. And I think sometimes the judges get a bad rep because it's hard to judge these athletes and give them scores, but the judges want to see them succeed and they want to see them stick. So they love giving out good scores if the athlete demonstrates that.
Yep, having conversations with judges, they always say that we want to give out high scores, just don't let us take deduction from you.
And that's such a hard job. I mean, you're critiquing somebody else, and that's never easy. It's always hard. So benefit to them for being deduction.
And it's a very biased sport, as is other sports are with ref calls and things like that. But a win and loss is determined by the judges. So they just do what they see. And it's important to note, too, that the camera angles that we're watching the events are different than the angle at which the judges are seeing the athletes compete here today.
Agreed. It is when you're that close up sometimes, because if you can see the table, the black tables, they're fairly close to the event. And sometimes it is harder to see those deductions. When you're further away, you can kind of see a little bit more of the leg separation and bent knees. So again, they do the best job they can, and as an athlete, your job is to give them nothing to take a deduction. So hopefully, both these teams are ready to not only do their best, but try to give them minimal deductions to take from these teams.
We're going to see a fairly consistent lineup from the last meet from Oshkosh's teams, just rearranged a little bit. They are playing around with different lineup strategies this season as they lost the most amount of depth on this event right here. Emily Buffington, the NCAA all-around champion that graduated last year, along with Kaylee Behrens and Anna Zamor-Soromsky. They all were such stellar competitors on this event, but people have stepped up to lead in this event to make their season high so far, 48.525. And they've scored above a 48 every meet so far on this event. So they do have high potential despite losing half their lineup for graduation. Jay Rutkowski starting the beam lineup for Oshkosh, and Olivia Haderi, the common name that we have seen for Simpson today, being the leadoff for Simpson's floor. Freshman versus sophomore.
Solid. Jay series on beam. Beautiful by canceling that step out. And Olivia's first pass. Run of 2.5. Very solid start to both athletes. Dismount for Jay on beam. Or maybe not, maybe a leap series. I apologize. Still solid.
Sometimes these beam routines feel like they last forever with my palms sweating.
Agreed. Back handspring, 1.5. Very small step on the landing. She'd have a little bit of bent legs in the 1.5, but great start lead off there on bounce beam. And Olivia just did a wonderful front pass. Chest is up when she landed. Nice control.
The coaches took a different approach on floor exercise for this team this season to intentionally peak a little bit later. So I wouldn't be surprised to see scores rise a little bit later in the season. It seemed like last season they burnt out a little bit in the midway point. And so this season is a slow burn, and you have to nurture these athletes and make sure that they last through the whole season to be at their peak at those championships.
Agreed. These gymnasts make it look easy, but every time they're doing a tunneling pass on that floor, it's so much pressure to their lower extremities. And so they have to make sure they're taking care of the athletes so they can last for 4 months competing. It's a lot on their bodies.
One way Oshkosh tries to keep their bodies intact is by doing team yoga after gymnastics meets. So they'll come in on the weekends, and instead of practicing, they'll do a yoga flow together.
I love that, and it's smart. You can stretch and keep the body feeling fresh.
And move in a different way. These athletes have been doing, mentioned, the same skills for 2 decades for some of them. So to be able just to move in a relaxing way, connect mind, breath, body all at the same time is only going to elevate these athletes when they go out to the competition floor. Journey Workington up now for Oshkosh.
That was a beautiful save on that can't step out. Little knee bent on leap pass.
Izzy Brown now on the floor exercise for Simpson.
Izzy a full front layout. Nice control. We had a little step on the dismount from Journey, but that's another tall routine from Oshkosh.
Both very competitive starts for both these teams. Olivia Haderi at 9.45 for Simpson, and Jay with a 9.6 for Oshkosh.
Izzy's up for her. A Ruby, or a 1.5 forward, connected to a split jump. Great height, great control. Have some fun dance time.
Feel free to clap along at home.
Her leap were executed wonderfully. Saw full split. Great floor by Izzy. I like how the Simpson storm, and after the floor teams, they literally stormed the floor from all angles. All came at it. I love
You got lost in the storm.
it.
Delaney Stinkus up on beam. Delaney is one person to look out for on this event. Her coaches said that she has had the most growth over the years, not only in talent, but in confidence, which, I mean, at the end of the day, these student athletes are students and young women that are trying to navigate through college. And so if they walk away from their college experience having grown in confidence, I mean, what more could you ask for from a program? I love how family-oriented and personal development is the priority on this team.
I completely agree with you. Gymnastics is a fun sport to do in college, but building your community and building yourself is what it's all about and who you become later. That's a huge shout out to Lauren and what she's done with this program, how she's built this program. Not only success in the gym, but success in the classroom and success in herself. And that was an absolute beautiful routine by Delaney. I did not see her wobble one bit. She flowed the whole entire time. Beautiful dismount. I know Lauren has to be proud of her.
The coaches explain that their team is built on trust and loyalty, and they have a good balance between the love and care for each other, but also this intense drive and talent that just makes them want to be better for their teammates, and creating a environment that is just so supportive and just pushing these women that they do not take for granted one bit. Beautiful routine by Delaney Stinkus. Bella Dix up here on the floor.
Look, check. She had a little bit of power on that first pass. A little overpower, but she held it in and controlled it. Side to Copa. I saw her splits were way over 180. Absolutely gorgeous.
That was textbook lead pass right there. Delaney Stinkus with a huge 9.825.
Front lap, front full. Look at that back there for Bella.
And now Lydia Hayden on beam.
And a front 1.5 for Bella. Solid chest up. Just into the lunge. And when you do take a step into that lunge, that is not a deduction. That is showing control of that tongue. Look at that. A 1.5 duck hold.
And to follow Delaney's 9.825, I can see the scores just slowly creeping, building up to that anchor position. Emma Tolbert waiting for floor. Bella Dix with a 9.35 for Simpson.
Let's see if Emma can bring a little more momentum back to floor. See if she can build on the score a little. It's her first half. A double pie. Did a little shuffle out of it. Showed control with her chest up. There's this little shuffle.
showing off a little storm there before her second pass.
A whip big full. Nice
Emma
solid.
Now on beam.
Emma showed very good control in that front area. Unbalanced speed.
Something in the orange has floor music. I would beg to argue something in the storm with the way her floor routine is going.
I agree. Both of them. The second pass on floor was beautifully executed and a nice step dismount on beam. And they were both named Emma. Emma Steele and Emma Tolbert. So they both brought the sticks on that, on their last routines of the
Double Emma duo just nailing it for both of their respective teams. Lydia Hayden received a 9.65 for Oshkosh on the balance beam. Liz Romano is up next. She will be the anchor position. Royersford, Pennsylvania, the senior. And the steal a 9.7. You can hear the Simpsons floor coach, Kelsey Kokan, say, just have fun out there. That's all these athletes have to focus on.
front air hook, backhand. Smooth connection, no wobble. Nice switching.
Liz Romano is one of the 5 seniors on this Oshkosh team, and the coaches explained that these athletes have been ready to lead a team since their freshman year. They have just been waiting for it for 4 years, and you can see how they just compete with confidence and poise. Up now on floor for Simpson is Kaylin Talley.
I agree. She did a round off 1.5. Did tuck her knees at the end. I'm not sure if that was a normal, but she did have a little bit of a step out of it. So that was a very solid ending for their beam lineup. That will count towards their final score. Front lap, front 1.5 on floor. Beautiful. Chest was open, laid out position. Nice leap pass.
New choreography for Kaylin.
Front lap, front full. I didn't see any deductions in that time pass.
That's going to be a pretty impressive score, followed by 9.575, which I believe they did take a deduction for stepping out of bounds.
And you had to end with a nice roll storm. 15.
Avery Evans, the first exhibition of 2 for Oshkosh, following Liz Romano's 9.6, making Oshkosh's beam total a 48.375.
Nice fight for Avery. That canceled out. Little wobble, but she moved her hips.
the dismount left.
A little small step there. She looked like she had it, but a little too much momentum to take. She needed to take that little small step.
And now Brooklyn Morgan rounding out the Simpsons floor lineup. She is a junior and scored a 9.7 already this season. She had an elbow injury over the summer, but came back on this event.
Nice double tap to open. A little too much power, so a little rebound out of it with her chest down. What a fun floor meet.
Engaging the crowd a little bit.
Nicely passed.
That is actually an upgraded leap pass from last year with added bonus to try to get to that 10 start value. Up now, Chris Hutler on the balance beam.
That was a solid 1.5 to a front layout. Just a little off to the side for Chris. Unfortunately, she did have a fall. That was a wonderful routine by Brooklyn. Great, solid ending for Simpson's competitive scoring. Chris looks a little nervous, even after the fall. But as you could tell that she's fighting for every tenth. Nice back 1.5. Little bit knees in the air. Fought flat landing.
A solid final performance for Oshkosh. Moving into the final exhibition routines of today, Kaylee Bristow, followed by Olivia Short, are the final two competitors.
Beautiful 1.5 to straddle jump. Her chest was up. She showed control. And like you said earlier, that mat floor. Switch side to wolf pull.
It's fun to see the crowd's engagement on this event in particular and see local communities supporting one another. I know for Oshkosh, they are very active members in their community, and since this was their final week before second semester started, they were volunteering every day at local schools, going into elementary schools to go play recess and talk to some of the students. Since they come out and support them, they return the favor and go out and support their local communities. Such a great camaraderie that all these students have.
Agreed, and I think the more you give back to the community, the more you give, you're going to get. So, once again, Lauren has done a wonderful job with that program, and I know that Emily and Kelsey have done a wonderful job with the Simpson program, and it's only 3 years old, but as you can tell, that they're just building every week and every year. The program is just getting stronger and stronger.
It's so fun to see the contrast between these two teams. Oshkosh having a very well-established tenure and very successful program over the years, over decades of competitors and teams before them. And Simpson, on the other hand, is establishing that culture and that just breaking program records meet after meet. And so they're both on very different ends of the tenure, but they both are just creating great cultures for these athletes. Chris Cutler on T's got a 9.075. And Kaylee Verstro on floor got a 9.475. Stellar scores on floor for Simpson. Olivia Short, the final Simpson Storm competitor.
Liv opens up with a one layout. Nice. Laid out hold landing. I think this is where we personality a little. Liv showing more of her very beautiful and graceful dance, as some others tend to do a little more of like the hip hop fun music. So it's fun to watch the different personalities come out on floor. Run up double back. Nice. A little leg separation there, but chest up. Wonderful for Olivia Short floor season.
What a way to close out the competition. You can see how excited the team is to wrap up the competition in such a stellar way. As you take a look at this final rotation, Simpson with a 47.75, walking away with their new highest floor score for the 2025 season, previously a 47.625, and Oshkosh finishing around their season average with a 48.375. Neither of these teams absolute best competitions, but super great for this point of the season. And they're exactly where they need to be as they approach the midway point and eventually postseason. What do these athletes have to do to make it through the long, grueling 4 weeks that February typically brings?
I think we talked about earlier, just a little bit of consistency and some confidence. I think if you just continue to build like they're doing one routine at a time, one meet at a time, I think it's going to happen. Because if you look at the scores just of this last rotation, I mean, Simpson was only 5/10 behind Oshkosh, and I think that's just showing and telling of the potential that Simpson has, and then just the consistency that Oshkosh has proven. So I think just a little bit more consistency, a little bit more confidence with both of these teams, and I think they're going to be hard to beat here in a few months when they have their postseason.
Absolutely, and not getting too ahead of themselves to focusing on that postseason, like we mentioned, taking it meet by meet. You can see some of the individual titles here on all of the events. And thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back on February 23rd at 2 p.m. when the Simpson Storm hosts Gustavus Adolphus. Thank you all for joining, and congrats to all of the competitors on a wonderful meet today.
This is relaxed atmosphere. What is this college bullshit? Yeah, no fun. We gotta keep up those scores if we want to do better. It's so awesome. Well, it was. Rachel! We gotta win.
Rachel, Annie, Olivia, or Alexa, smile. Cheer. Go every other.
Oh, did somebody get mad?
Oh, the other lip.
All of you go to one side. All one side. But stagger it. There you go.
Okay, I got good ones. I got good ones.
Okay, let's
Olivia.
share.
Olivia.
Please share.
Oh yeah, look at. There's Uber Sean up there. Taking
Listen,
pictures.
we wanna win. We gotta
Olivia.
win. Well, we can do it too. Please do.
This one better than that. If we win, I'm rushing. I just said we were winning. If we win, I'm rushing.
Well, we're rushing. Let's go. I'm down.
These girls are following you.
I'm winning.
These are following.
Rushing. All right. That's how well that's going to work out. And then we're gonna, if we rush, then we got to go over to the bar. Okay. And we're going to knock some down.
Third place with a score of 9.500.
Rachel, you're in the front. You have to smile.
Brianna McGivney.
You're the face.
From Simpson. With a score of 9.700 from Simpson, Kaylin Towers. Tied for second place on bars with a score of 9.650, both from Oshkosh. Sam Liza, Di Linker, and Avery Evans. In first place on bars with a score of 9.675 from Oshkosh, Bailey Burkholder. Tied for third place on beam with a score of 9.650 from Oshkosh, Lydia Hayden.
Good.
And from Simpson, Olivia Bernard.
So it's room for improvement.
From Oshkosh, Emma Steele. In first place on beam with a score of 9.825 from Oshkosh, Delaney.
That's a great.
In third place on floor with a score of 9.650 from Oshkosh, Mia Lucera. In second place with a score of 9.725 from Oshkosh, Delaney. Wisconsin Oshkosh Kite. On behalf of the entire Simpson Athletic Department, we would like to thank you for supporting women's gymnastics. The Storm are on the road again for the next 2 weeks, beginning with a duel in Wisconsin this upcoming Thursday. Simpson returns home on February 23rd to face Augusta the Dolphins. Enjoy the rest of your evening and please drive home safely.
The scores were like
for now, but I have only reason. Keep you closer tonight, but when the sun goes down.